Alright, welcome back to another video with Atomic Token Games. I'm Jake Steppen.
And I'm Wade Wagner.
And today we have a video all about sleeping gods.
Okay guys, before we get started, you know what time it is. Hit that like button, subscribe. We're having a blast pumping out weekly board game content for you, so we'd love to keep doing it. At 500 subscribers, remember we're going to do a giveaway for Quests of Valeria, so keep checking our social media, TikTok and Instagram, for more details on that when we get to 500 subscribers. Our Patreon is still going strong. We've got our merch up on Etsy now. If you subscribe to our Patreon, we'll give you a discount on the merch. We're planning on doing live streams, you know, all that stuff that we've been talking about. Exclusive Discord is going to be awesome. So go check out our Patreon. All those links are below. That would help us out. It'd be awesome. Okay, so quick overview of the game. The idea of this game is really, really cool. You're a crew. You're basically splitting the crew of a steamboat ship that has been transported to, what do they call it? The Lost. It's called like the Forgotten Waters or something. Anyway, your steamship is teleported. You appear after some storm in this unknown land. And you're trying to get away from it. And so you kind of just... The cool thing about the player count is that you can just kind of split the crew and you just take turns being the captain.
Yeah. So it's a legacy game, a campaign game where you play with your same crew and your same equipment and everything from play to play to play. But the really cool thing about this game is you can play it from 1 to 4 people, and you can play with one person one time, 3 people the next time, 2 people the next. It doesn't really matter. So it's really, really easy to kind of mix and match those play styles, or be like, oh, like today we've got all 4 of us, but next time we'll have 3. You know, that's fine. You can just kind of pick up where you left off. It does a really good job at letting you explore this whole world with your crew, and it's really accessible, which is really cool.
That I love that as part of it. You don't have to have like a dedicated group to continue to play it unless they want to, you know, see all the story and stuff like that. But as far as campaign and legacy games go, it's actually more replayable. You're not necessarily tearing up cards. They specifically give you a box to like put your used stuff in. So it's actually pretty easy to reset.
Yep.
And I really like the idea they built into the game a way to like save the game.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, every time you finish, they write down everything that just happened. They give you enough bags that you just like save all your tokens in your own little bag, and then when you're ready to play next time, you just dump them out. So that's really cool.
So I know, like with my character Marco here, he's got all these tokens and stuff on him, and like his equipment. I'm just gonna put Marco in one bag, and then I can, you know, pick him up next time. And it's been really easy, and then they have just a little chart that walks you through how to save it.
And probably the whole star of the thing is the map. So this is just a booklet that you go through. You travel around to all the different places, and it's got all the numbers in it. There's a huge book for you to, you know, read all the different scenarios. There's a whole bunch of like interactions and stuff.
They give you kind of a good story reason to have like a map of the whole area. It encourages you to take notes, and you kind of feel like a cartographer a little bit because you're taking notes on there. And
like, so we saw this over here, and you know, we need to come back here sometime once we have, you know, this thing and this thing, because then we can do this. And so
the way they do that is really like they do it by keywords and quests. If you have these quests, then you're going to jump and do this other stuff. If you don't have them, then nothing's really going to happen at this location. And the storybook, I mean, they went through a lot of effort to write.
It's thick.
I mean, this is all, when you do encounters on the map and explore a location, I mean, it's all story driven like that. And it's pretty cool. There's a lot of content. So pretty fun game, campaign, legacy game. Let's get into the review. Okay, so table space and setup. What do we think?
I would give this a 3 out of 5 for table space and setup. It's got a pretty decent, you know, area to set up. The nice thing is, because they have all the nice save things, you don't have to do a lot of like, okay, wait, does this go here? That, you know, you can just kind of dump everything out. You're ready to go. And because there's not a board, you just have this booklet and then your little character sheets. There's nothing that is giant by itself, right? So you can, you know, if you got your table, you can set up these over here by Greg while he's playing, and give Alice these things to, you know. So it's very maneuverable. It's not not the worst game ever.
I thought it was going to be a 4 or a 5 for me. I was super overwhelmed the first time we were saving the game. But then, we've played it 3 or 4 separate occasions now, and we've really been able to just pick up right where we left off.
Yeah.
And it hasn't really felt hindering at all in that aspect.
Yeah.
So, 3 for table space and setup. I mean, it has a pretty good table footprint, but it's not daunting because they kind of walk you through in the rule book how to set it up and take it down.
Yep.
And so they really try to keep in mind the setup.
Yeah.
Cool. 3. All right. So replayability. Let's talk about that.
For me, I give this a 4 out of 5. This is a very replayable game. It's kind of the whole point, right? Part of it is the campaign can take a lot of playthrough sessions. Mm-hmm. We've played 3 or 4 times, probably put in 6 to 8 hours on this game, and we haven't even made it a third of the way through a campaign. So there's a lot there, right? Yeah. So with your same group running the same campaign, there's a lot to explore, right? You spend the whole time just out trying to figure things out, playing over and over, and there's a lot to do, and it's really cool, right? You're like, man, we have 4 quests to do right now. We need to go here, 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 and there's just so much. So there's a lot of replayability. Plus, if you do finish a campaign, like we said, you can reset it. It's very simple. It has everything there, so you can start a new campaign at any time and just go for it. So there's a lot of replayability here. Yeah,
as for a legacy game, I'm always just afraid of legacy games because replayability is so important to me. And so I feel like playing a game through and just kind of shelving it doesn't feel good. Yeah. But this one, it gives you a good starting point. The beginning's a little bit of the same, but there's so many different directions you can go once you've played it the first time. There's we've estimated maybe 6 different endings.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways.
There's a lot of content. There's a whole section of the book about the finale, about how many totems you've collected throughout the game and what you have when you go through all the event decks. So the whole game is based around these events. You're going to go through, what did we calculate, 56 events?
Yep.
So it's 56 turns basically, and we've only gone through 16 turns or something like that. But we've kind of experienced a bunch of the game, and it's just really cool. You can come back to the time you're going to get from one campaign. You're going to get a lot of time, and then you can even do another one. So 4 out of 5.
All right. So next up we have complexity. Now this one's a little bit nuanced. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 for complexity. Once you get going, it's fairly simple, right? If you're just saying, okay, on my turn, I'm going to take these actions. We're going to travel here. We're going to go exploring. We're going to, encounter some evil henchmen and a lizard and attack them and, try to do all these things. And then it's your turn, right? And you do the same thing. So once you kind of get into the flow of things, it's not too bad. The one thing for us that was slightly difficult is the rule book. Getting through the rule book was a little bit rough.
I love the idea of people trying to do quick start guides, right? Pick it up and play. Let's start doing this. But it was just do this thing. Okay, why? I don't know.
Yeah, so they had a tutorial book, a learn to play book that kind of walked you through your first few rounds. And it was, well, at least for us, it wasn't that helpful. It honestly just kind of told us, do this, do that. Didn't explain, you are taking phase 2 of your turn and it means this. So we spent a lot of time in the rule book.
Even in our 6th hour, into our 6th and 7th hour, we were still wait, how does that work again? So it's I'd almost give this a 2 complexity because your turn is do a ship action, do an event, take 2 go exploring or whatever actions and resolve those things. Combat is simple. Here's, I'm attacking with this person. Flip over a fate card, that's my attack roll, and do the damage. Super simple. But it is so obtuse getting there. It's interesting.
So I think overall I give this a 3 overall. That once you get going, it's not too bad of a game at all. But it is a struggle, at least it was for us, getting through the rulebook, kind of understanding how to get things rolling and how some of the things work. But once you get through that, then it's actually a pretty simple game.
Super simple game, right, for strategy, what are we giving it?
I'm going to give this one a 2 out of 5. This game is definitely an adventure game, right? You're going out, you're exploring, you're trying to, find the cool things and collect treasure and, fight these monsters and all this stuff. And the strategy is not the main focus, right? This game is definitely more of an adventure game. You get this game so you can play with your friends, go on an awesome adventure, and figure everything out.
Yep. The only like strategy comes in like the combat. The combat system is kind of this grid system, and when you deal damage, you deal it horizontally and vertically, and cover up different things. But even then, that's still pretty simple. So yeah, not a lot of strategy, but you're there for the experience. That's for sure what this game is.
Yeah, a lot of it feels a little bit like there's some push your luck. You do a lot of, in order to take actions, you have to exhaust your crew members. And so it gets to a point where you're like, well, if I try to do this super awesome thing now, am I going to be able to even survive the next thing, right? So you kind of got to weigh the pros and cons of...
It's a lot of mitigating the negatives that are happening to you, because there's a lot of it happening all the time.
Yeah, so strategy-wise, it's not the highest thing. There's not a whole lot there, but that's because they're definitely the focus here is more of the adventuring. All right, so for art style and theme, I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. The art style is really cool, actually. It's kind of got this whimsical, kind of fantastical feeling to it, that you're exploring in this mysterious world, and you have all these monsters and stuff. And so it does have some really cool art that you're like, wow, I'm kind of in this magical place.
Well, and then like half the reason I bought it is this box art is rad.
Yeah,
like it looks really cool. The idea is cool for the adventure. Like they really try to make the world feel immersive, but that sometimes they try a little too hard. It kind of sometimes the writing feels a little bit like that like high school D&D kid that's like really just trying to be super descriptive and be like, oh, the light brown clay cup was filled with a brown liquid. And it's like, I don't need all that information. Yeah. Like I understand they're trying to paint a picture. And they're trying to be immersive, which is cool. Like I love all the work that they've gone into the world building here, and I think that's why we're giving it. That's why we're giving it a 3 out of 5. Is we love the work that they've put into the world building, but some of it just kind of falls short a little bit and feels a little cheesy. And also, like the whimsical style that you said kind of clashes with like.
There's
people are dying all the time, man. Like it's dark. Like there's these monsters everywhere. People are getting eaten. They're like, oh yeah, this dinosaur ate our crew member right off the bat, and then as you're running away, it's describing 3 other crew members who are getting eaten alive. Oh, yeah. Jeez. It doesn't, but from looking at it, I don't see any blood, I don't see any death, but it is definitely happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, for our style and theme, we love the immersive world that they've built.
We love the world they built.
Yeah, like the world they built.
That's a 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so for component quality, we're going to give this a 3 out of 5. It's pretty average stuff. You've got your cardboard tokens. There are a few, wooden tokens. They're very plain, right? But they've got them, so there's some cool components. Definitely the thing that shines for me, though, is the map book, right? This is the coolest thing you've got. It's got the cool art. It's, you flip the pages as you're exploring, so it's kind of like you discover the world as you're going, and you can see they did a really good job on the map. Each of the numbers where you can explore will have a little, you can see a little tiny house, or there's a footprint on the sand or whatever.
Oh yeah, we went to that one area today because you saw a crashed plane, and we wanted to go see what that was all about because it actually had relevance.
Yes.
Well, the detailing went into like drawing this full map and incorporating it into this and making it feel like it's a world you're exploring. That's really cool, and I think the components are what does that for it. Yeah, so pretty average pieces, and this, the map is just really, we love what they're trying to do with that.
Yeah.
Okay, fun level. Jake, I'm going to let you open with this one.
Okay, so for fun level, I give this a 3 out of 5. I think this is a fun game, right? I love legacy games where you discover new things and you unlock more content. This game does it really well, right? You're literally exploring and finding new places to go and new quests and everything. So that to me feels really awesome. The one part that kind of knocks this down for me is that I spent half the time we're playing on Wade's turn. I was just reading the rule book, trying to
I had the story
clarify.
book, you had the rule book.
Yeah, I was trying to clarify everything as we're going. Like, okay, wait. So I just took this action and trying to find everything. The rulebook's just not the best rulebook I've ever read, right?
Yeah.
There's definitely a few things in there. I wish it was like a little more organized or whatever. So for me, that knocks down the fun level that we did have to spend a while trying to figure out how exactly everything runs. And so for me, it ends up being a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, but I can see what you're saying because the allure, the whole allure to me of the game is the choose your own adventure, right? Like it's really just like a board game version of a choose your own adventure, which is cool. For me, I'm having a hard time. I'm giving this a 2 out of 5 on fun level. Like I said, I love the choose your own adventure style. That's what I want to be doing all the time. But I feel like it gets bogged down by some punishing mechanics that feel just kind of punishing for no reason. The fate system, I almost feel like this could be done better. I was going to say this to you earlier. I almost feel like it could be done better with dice, and then these are just like ability cards or something, right? Like, when you fail on a thing, you're like, I've made all these sacrifices with my crew, and it still failed. Yeah. Like, oh, what? I mean, I've played Arkham Horror. I've played hard games before. I've played stuff like that that's punishing.
Spirit Island.
But for some reason, this feels punishing for no reason, almost.
I think it's the luck element, right? You do all these things, you need a skill of 8, and so you set up your 7, because then you get to flip a card and hope that it adds the boost, and you get a 0, and it's like, well, now half my crew can't do anything because I exhausted them and I don't get the reward. Yeah,
exactly. You spend so many resources and make so many sacrifices, and then it's just a pass-fail. The cool thing they do, though, is even if you fail, you still get to progress the story.
Right.
So that's actually pretty cool. I'll give it that. But it's just like, it feels really bad when you fatigue half your crew and then you turn over the 1 on the fate card, and it's like, it feels really bad. But then when you get to an area like today where we were like, all right, let's just waltz up to this place. Oh, sweet, we found the Titan's Hammer. like that was cool. I don't know if I feel like we earned it, but so it feels a little like wonky in that area for me. But like at the end of the day, the core of the game, like I just want to be exploring, and I think some of the other stuff gets in the way of that. That's why I think the fun level kind of dropped down at a 2 out of 5 for me. But I can understand why, it's just a different style of game.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's definitely, if you like the exploring and the pushing your luck types of games, right? This game is for you,
Absolutely.
Right? It really excels there. Me, personally, I like games that have a little more control over and ones where I don't have to sit in the rule book half the time.
It's just, we would be having so much more fun if we didn't have to check every, what is this?
Yeah.
This is weird. What does this mean? I don't know. And some of it, I think we were talking about that today. So, we were fighting some dudes, and you're supposed to, fill these in horizontally and vertically, and we just had to kill one dude. And we were going to take so much more damage if we let it go another round, so we kind of just fudged it and, did some damage diagonally. I don't know if the combat puzzle is really fun to me either.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I mean, the idea, again, of all this stuff is really cool.
It is really cool.
So, I mean, if you're into push your luck stuff, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, that's our kind of a spiel on fun level. I think that was the biggest thing we had to talk about with this game was the idea and everything is so cool, but the execution, there was just something lacking.
Yeah, at least for us.
Yeah. Okay, overall, what are we giving it?
I give this game a 6 out of 10 overall. I think this game's super fun. I love exploring and discovering things. To me, that's super awesome. And I love the idea of man, I've got my crew here and we can do whatever we want and let's go find dinosaurs and monsters and witches and everything, right? You got to explore everything. I think that's super awesome. The one thing for me that knocks it down from being a higher score is just the kind of the difficulty to get into the game with the rule book and just having to spend so much time reading.
I think I like a little more structure. It feels a little obtuse in some ways, and so we've kind of just ended up house ruling a lot of stuff too. Yeah, so I think, so I'm going to give this pretty close to Jake. I'm going to give it a 5.5. For me, it's just slightly above average, and I think it's because the spirit of the game is there, right? The choose your own adventure thing is incredible, and the idea of the story, I mean, they have choices. If you do this, then go to this, story beat or whatever. It's literally choose your own adventure. I don't know why I didn't think about that before. And when you switch the captain token, so the way you take turns is okay, Jake's going to work with these 4 crew members and the captain and do some stuff, and he can only use the resources he has available. And then on my turn, I'll use the resources I have available. And that feels really cool because it makes the decisions more heavy. You feel like the pressure is on you. And it's kind of nice when it's not your turn to have that quarterbacking syndrome taken away from you.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, oh, you're the captain, so like I'll help you out with whatever decisions you're gonna make, and I'll still consult you, I think. But it's kind of fun. So, but again, some of the things I was just having a really hard time with, and so I'm still gonna give this an above average score, a 5.5. But some of the things that I love about the game were being, like, you know, Jake said, weighed down by some of the mechanics and things that didn't feel like they were necessary. So that's our overall. So that's what we've got. That's our review for Sleeping Gods. Tell us what you think. This one may be a little controversial.
Yeah. Yeah, this game, awesome, right? It is a good game. Just not our style, I don't think. I think Wade and I both prefer games that you have a little more control over what's happening and that sort of thing. We're not super into the push your luck type of stuff, but it is an awesome game. Got super cool art, got super cool story, all that kind of stuff.
It's like if you want to sit around and do kind of almost like a D&D campaign with some friends, but you don't want to like go through the hassle of making a character and writing the story and stuff like that.
And having a DM, you know, have a DM.
No, it's all written for you, which is cool. Like, it's a cool world to experience. I think as far as a board game goes, I think it's like you said, not our style. But the developer. I would love to see more from these guys.
Yeah,
I would love to see them hone the craft of exploring and the mechanics and stuff like that. I would love to see more of this, and I would like to see through this campaign. I think we're still going to finish the campaign, and I'd like to see through it. We've read through some of it to kind of get a gist of the story, but it's a super awesome idea.
Okay, so make sure, guys, if you haven't yet, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. We're getting really close to those 500 subscribers, and we're super excited, guys. We love making content every week. Definitely is a highlight for us. So make sure we love having you and join our community.
Yep. Social media, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon. Check out our Etsy shop. We're going to be wearing our swag here pretty soon. We're getting some samples, and so it'll be awesome. We're having a blast, and we hope you guys keep watching.